Hi, everyone. This is Meg Bertle Brown, your host of the All Things Pageantry podcast. And today we have Mary Patterson, Miss Dakota County with the Miss Minnesota America pageant system. Thank you, Mary, for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Great. So let's just kind of get into it.
Mhm.
How did you get into pageantry? Like, what was it that drew you in?
So I am from Lakeville, Minnesota, which is in Dakota County. So it's exciting to be now representing my hometown again because when I was really young, my mom and my sister and I volunteered at our local festival pageant, which was the Miss Lakeville Scholarship Program. So I watched those girls on stage and I was just so impressed by them and I wanted to be just like them. But as I grew up, I knew it was an opportunity to serve my community and to further my education. So I ran the first year I was eligible and I was honored to earn the title of Lakeville Princess 2022. So that was going into my senior year of high school. Um, and festival titles are a little different than what I do now. What I do now is a lot of community service. And the festival titles were a lot of visiting other festivals when they were happening. So I've loved learning about the differences and the similarities of both. But getting back into it after taking a year and a half off, per se, I really wanted to do it again because I had so much fun the first time and get the chance to do it maybe a little more independently as someone who's a little bit older, had some more experience under my belt. And when I found out that there was a Miss Dakota County opportunity specifically, I was like, I think like this is the title to go for if I'm going to go for anything.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. When I was small too, I would watch Miss Universe, Miss America,
Mhm.
um, what was the other one? I forget now. But all the pageants that you would see on TV, and
Mhm.
I was just enamored by the glamour, the beauty, the grace, the elegance that they displayed
Yes.
on the stage. So I definitely
Mhm.
understand what you're saying about being like, oh wow, I want to be just like them, or I want to be up
Mhm.
there too.
Mhm.
So, what was it about the Miss America system? And you might have touched on it already, but
Mhm.
what is it about the whole Miss America system that really drew you in versus other pageant
Mhm.
systems?
To be quite honest, it was the one I knew most about. So every year at the Lakeville Ambassador coronation, Miss Minnesota, who's crowned typically about a month before our annual competition, comes in and does her talent and gives an interview, like an onstage interview, while the judges are deliberating. So I saw several Miss Minnesotas growing up, um, and I was able to speak with a couple of them when I ran and then passed down my title. And it was actually Angelina Amerigo, Miss Minnesota 2023, who said, Mary, you should really think about being a local contestant, and kind of planted that seed in my brain. I don't know if she knows me or remembers this at all, um, but it stuck with me. So when I was like thinking about doing it again, I remembered what Angelina said, and she was so kind and encouraging about it that I was like, let's start here. Let's
Yeah.
start here. So I'm definitely still learning about other pageant systems and what those look like. But I started with Miss America because I was like, I'm most familiar. I know a couple of people who have been through it. I know other formal festival title holders that have gone through it, and it seems like a good place to start.
Yeah, you have to love those festival
Mm-hmm.
pageant opportunities. I live in Texas, and so I think we are just
Mm-hmm.
going through our big Nature's River Festival, and it's just all just beautiful. All the girls are
Mm-hmm.
just gorgeous in their white gowns.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, what a fun experience to have your first experience in the festival system, and then now in within Miss America.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we know Miss America has a talent. So, what is your
Yeah,
talent?
I am a vocalist. I spent 3 years in high school choir. I did show choir and theater in middle school, and I did 4 years of theater in high school, and I loved musical storytelling. And it was really fun to do it in a group, honestly. Um, I'm not someone who studies music theory, but the way that it sounds when you have so many vocal parts come together, it was always really good. It was so
Yeah.
fun. So the memories made there and being an actor in theater and telling stories through music, I was like, okay, this is an easy place to kind of step back into because I'm not a music major. I don't study anything close to that here at college. So I was like, this is a way to kind of revive and like step back to that part of myself a little bit and grow it because I've grown up a little, I hope a little bit since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really was like, okay, I'm going to sing because I did theater and choir and that made me so happy. So I want to make my talent something that makes me happy too.
Exactly. I understand because I'm a vocalist as well. So are you an alto, soprano?
So I went through actually in high school, the last time I was like actually trained in any way, I went through all three female parts. I started as an
Oh.
alto as a freshman, probably because we had a lot of sopranos.
Mm,
Um, by senior year, I was singing soprano one. So the higher part of the soprano, I would say I'm most like stably wonderful mezzo soprano. Maybe not wonderful, but I sit at that nice mezzo soprano range. I've
mhm.
told friends like, yeah, I sing the soprano parts, and then when they hear me speak, maybe the way I'm speaking now, they're like, you don't
Yeah.
sound like a soprano. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit all over.
Yeah.
But right now, as I'm training my talent, I'm trying to stick right to that mezzo soprano range, something I know that's
Yeah.
healthy and strong for me.
Right. Gotcha. Yes. Fellow mezzo here too as well. So for the Miss Dakota County, are you going to sing the same song that you sang at that pageant
I
for
am not. I
no?
wanted to pick something that was maybe a little more in my range because the song I picked was a little more storytelling heavy for Miss Dakota County. I sang a piece from the Little Women musical. Um, in high school, I played Beth March in my senior year play of Little Women. And I wanted to step back into a character that helped me grow a lot and learn a lot about myself as I tried something new. Um, so this time I'm singing a different, more of a ballad piece and something that is also close to my heart.
I'm sure it'll be beautiful and powerful. Um, I mean, that's exciting. So tell us, when will the pageant be?
Miss Minnesota is going to be June 18th to 20th at Treasure Island Resort and Casino in Welch, Minnesota. And if it's not Welch, Minnesota, I don't know what town it is. Um, but I've never been to a casino or anything like that. So even to like stay at the hotel attached is kind
Yeah.
of cool to me because I just
Yeah.
18th birthday was like, all right, I'm getting dinner with my family. And that's kind of every birthday to me is like I want to spend time with my family and my
Mm,
loved ones.
yeah.
I don't feel a need to like go out and do stuff that's super big anymore.
Yeah. 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 I get that for sure. So you mentioned music isn't your major. So what are you majoring in now?
I am a finance major at the Carlson School of Management at University of Minnesota Twin Cities. And that's been a really exciting journey because I was accepted as a student for this coming fall. I've spent my first 2 years of undergrad in the econ program, getting my prerequisites and general eds done. And I applied multiple times to the Carlson School, and I'm so excited to fully start being a student there this fall.
Wow. Congratulations. That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now, a different aspect in your life, which I
Mhm.
love, I love learning the um, faceted aspects of people's lives, especially
Mhm.
who are in pageants. So, tell us a little bit more about your platform, because I think
Mhm.
this is I'm a nurse practitioner, so I
Mhm.
understand the why
Mhm.
what your platform is in such need to be talked about, to be kind of
Yeah.
on the forefront of every conversation. So go ahead and tell us
Mhm.
how you started to connect with your platform and what you're doing currently.
Yeah. So my community service initiative is called The Power of Red, Blood Donation and Blood Health Awareness. I started donating my blood when I was 16 years old, which in Minnesota is one of 37 states where donors can start donating at the age of 16 with parental permission. Otherwise, for most states, it's 17, if I recall correctly. Um, so I had a teacher in high school who I was part of student council and National Honor Society. I was looking for a way to complete my service hours. The blood drive sounded like a fun opportunity. I asked my parents, I was like, hey, can I try donating my blood? And they said, sure, if you really want to. um, so I donated that fall. I tried to donate again that spring, but I got very dizzy, very sick right after my donation, which didn't happen the first time. A couple weeks later, we got a letter from the American Red Cross explaining my iron deficiency that I didn't know about. And the only reason I found out about it was because I tried to donate my blood. So I had a year-long deferral, which meant I couldn't donate for 1 year. Um, but what I did to change that was I adjusted my diet and exercise to center around like keeping that iron healthy. Um, And to clarify, when you go to donate blood and they tell you you have low iron, usually that means like, oh, your iron levels are fine overall, they're just not high enough to donate blood. What happened to me was that my iron levels were too low overall. So I needed to fix that. And since I have done that, I try to donate as close to every 56 days as possible because that is how often one is eligible to donate. So when I was trying to create a community service initiative to run for Miss Dakota County, I was like, this is it. Like, I have continued to donate, continued to volunteer. So many people across America don't know that they're eligible to donate blood, and they don't know that the need is constant. Someone in America needs a blood transfusion every 2 seconds, and one donation, 1 hour of your time, can save up to 3 people's lives. And so it creates like triple the impact in a way. So it just was something that I was like, this is what I need to talk about. And I knew in my heart that that was what my platform was going to be.
Yeah. 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 I hear so many people talk about, one, do they qualify and to donate blood, and then two, I think probably the biggest fear, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you have I guess a more accurate answer, but I feel like one of the reasons why people don't donate is because they don't want to find out find out what's going on with them, like whether or not they have a low iron or high platelets, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I think it's a fear of the unknown of their own health status.
Yeah, so that is what my platform is meant to do. It is meant to educate and enhance donor accessibility. A lot of people don't understand the blood donation process. So my job as a title holder is to help create that understanding. If someone reaches out and has a question for me, I'm like, here's where you can find that answer if I don't have it. And I think the biggest thing that I run into is a lot of people are afraid of needles, which is, I'm like, yeah, that's a fair one. My own brother is afraid of needles and isn't wanting to donate. And I'm like, that's okay. That's okay. But the important thing is people need to learn about their own health. Every time you donate blood, you get essentially a free health screening because your hemoglobin, your heart rate, and your blood pressure gets checked. And those are things that, at least your blood pressure, directly correlates to your heart health. So as a Miss America title holder, my service initiative connects directly to Go Red for Women and the work that the organization does with the American Heart Association. So it's important to me that, especially for female donors, because cardiovascular disease is so prevalent in women, that they know the benefits to their own health. You don't get healthier by donating blood. The benefit is what you learn about your health.
Right. So, I mean, other than finding out that you might have low iron, which can cause you to be dizzy and tired, are there any just general side effects or occurrences that can occur after someone donates blood?
Yeah, so after someone donates blood, it is normal to be a little nervous, a little woozy. So what you can do to kind of counter that and be proactive about it is get your vitamin C up. So fruit juice, fruit in general is good to have. You want to eat protein, particularly iron, spinach, fish, steak, those kinds of things. You are recommended not to do any kind of rigorous activity for 24 hours after your donation. What happens is that the average adult has about 10 to 12 pints of blood in their body. One blood donation is equal to 1 pint. So you've lost a pint of blood. You're safe, you're fine, you're going to live, but it's important that you rest and let your body replenish the blood, which happens in about 24 hours. And then the number of red blood cells gets replenished in about 56 days, which is 8 weeks. So then you should be able to donate again in 56 days. That is why that mark is where it's at.
Gotcha. A couple of new things that I wasn't really aware of. I'm a nurse practitioner, but yeah, like I really feel like that people are just, they don't know, and they're definitely scared. And you're right, they do have every right to be scared.
Yeah,
Needles,
absolutely.
or feeling dizzy, or finding out something negative in their health. But a lot of events that I go to, there seems to be always a blood donation bus or truck out there to collect donations. And you're right, it is definitely, blood is needed everywhere.
Yeah, and I actually checked out my Red Cross app the other day. You can see a map of where your donations have gone. Mine have gone, like at this point, all over the country, east to west, California to Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And it is amazing to know that like 3 people in each of those states probably, hopefully, got my blood
Yeah.
and that they got to continue living because I took 1 hour of my time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, think of all the unfortunately, the car
Yeah.
accidents, the unfortunate incidences um, that can occur. That yeah, people need blood
Yeah.
quickly and immediately.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the other thing is sometimes when we have natural disasters strike our country, it's kind of a situation of like, I live across the country. I feel like I can't do anything. Um, Blood donation is not the Red Cross's only line of service. They are also first responders to a lot of these incidences. But
Mm-hmm.
what people at home can do is go donate blood. That does make a difference, especially in these emergency situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. So, do you also get to find out your blood type at
Yes.
that time when they're okay? Good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you find out after the donation. I ended up like giving the Red Cross like the 1-800 number a call and being able to find out. But if someone signs up with the Red Cross donor app, it'll show up after that first donation.
Oh, good, good.
Mhm.
And that's cool that, there's an app
Mhm.
that you can kind of track where your own blood has gone
Yes.
to. And so if you need any kind of assurance that, oh my gosh, did I do the right thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. The other thing is that the app is super helpful. It has a digital donor card for an easier check-in. It holds the Rapid Pass, which helps get through the health questionnaire at the donation appointment much faster. Um, and it holds that record of historical blood pressure, historical hemoglobin. So if you
Oh,
need to look back at those statistics and check in on your own health, you have that historical record right there in the donor app. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. And I see a lot of people who have chronic conditions, so their hemoglobin, they're anemic for,
Hmm.
and there's different types of anemia, but they're definitely, anemic, and we tell them when they get down to a 7, the hemoglobin's down to a 7, they need a blood transfusion. And
Yeah.
wouldn't it be interesting that the blood that you donated, I don't know, however long ago, and then
Hmm.
you need it, I mean, it kind of comes back, kind of
Yeah.
comes back to you full circle,
Hmm.
possibly. I don't know if that does happen, but,
Hmm. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. So, are there any like restrictions in
Hmm.
health, blood type, or whatever that
Yeah.
people need to be aware of?
Yeah. So there's a couple. If someone has had cancer, unfortunately, they cannot donate. That's
Yeah,
It can't happen.
yeah,
So I have a couple of friends of mine who had cancer when they were kids, and they're like, "Yeah, I can't donate." I'm like, "I am just glad you're here.
yeah,
I'm glad that
yeah,
you're healthy now." And that's
yeah.
so there are certain conditions that, um, like that's a situation where it's like that's a never gonna happen thing, which is really unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but there's height and weight requirements. Um,
Okay.
and it depends a little bit on what kind of donation you're doing because there's 4 kinds of blood donation. You have
Okay.
whole blood, power red. Power red is a double unit. So you give 2 units of red blood cells, and then your plasma and platelets are returned back to you at the end of that. Then you
Mm-hmm.
can donate your plasma. People will know donating their plasma to be the one that they get paid for. I'm a donor through the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross does not um, pay you to donate blood, anything like that. Um, so people can go to other avenues to donate their plasma. And then platelets are the last one. I know I'm not eligible for Power Red. Power Red requires either you to be, if I remember correctly, you need to be a little taller and a little heavier to do that. Um, Heavier in just the sense of overall weight, not, there's no restriction on body type. It's a height and weight deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I really do want to try donating platelets someday, eventually.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, all blood products are definitely
All
important.
products are needed,
Yeah.
and they have different shelf lives as well, which is why some is needed more than others are.
Okay.
Um, I'm losing the statistics off the top of my head, but um, so the shelf life for different blood products is different as well.
Sure.
So it depends on a couple things. Let's see. There's also the medical deferral list. So there's a list of medications that if someone's taking Accutane, for example, they cannot donate blood, and I believe that if someone's been on Accutane in the last 2 years, they can't donate either. So there all of those medications are there for a reason, to ensure that the healthiest, safest blood products get to the patients who need them. I know the Red Cross would love to, take as much as they can get, but it's truly to ensure that both donors and patients remain healthy.
Gosh, I've learned so much, and like I said, I've been in the health field for a long time. But I mean, this aspect of blood health and blood health awareness isn't really talked about. And I mean, like I said, on our end over in Southeast Texas, we just hear just like the continuous request for blood donations, and I'm sure it's the same across the country, probably in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and depending on someone's blood type, for example, someone just said to me today, yeah, I got a call from the Red Cross saying they were short this blood type and that this blood type was in heavier demand. So that's also why it is important to donate blood and learn your blood type, because, for example, if you're a type O blood type, those blood types are needed a lot more than others are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
mm-hmm.
I mean this is good information, and so I don't know if you answered this or answered this already, but how long does the process take? Like if you go from the start of getting your health kind of your pre-screen to your vitals to the actual blood donation, how long does a person expect to be at that location?
Roughly 1 hour. So whole blood itself takes 1 hour. The other three types have varying times. Power red's going to take a bit longer than an hour. Platelets are going to take more like 2, if I remember correctly. So for me, when I go to the Red Cross location nearest to me, which is here in Minneapolis, I can expect to be there for about an hour. So I'll get there, I'll check in, wait a few minutes. A nurse will come to me and say, all right, we're ready to check you out. They'll do, temperature, blood pressure, hemoglobin, and heart rate. And if all of those things are good to go, then I get brought over to the donation table. My arm is cleaned. Usually I get my blood taken out of my left arm. Just works better. It happens to also be my non-dominant arm, which I'm pretty cool with. So they'll clean my arm up, they'll give me like a little stress ball type of thing to roll in my hands or to squeeze and hold so that my vein gets to be in the right spot. Needle goes in. I don't watch it go in. I'm still a little afraid of needles, but I'm like, it's not so bad. You get used to it. For me, my blood the actual donation part tends to go pretty quick, about 5 minutes. Then they'll, take the needle out, clean me up, get me wrapped up with the fun red wrap. Then I'll slowly sit up, make sure I'm not sitting up too fast, swing my legs off the bed for a bit, make sure I'm good to stand, and I'll walk over and have some snacks. The Red Cross has really good snacks donation. Oreos, apple juice, all that good stuff to get your blood sugar up and help you make sure you're not getting too dizzy afterwards. So I'll sit there for 10 to 15 minutes, make sure I'm good to go before heading back home. So it really only takes about an hour, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but it really doesn't take that much time. Like I can take an hour on a Friday morning after class, and it's so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah. I mean, what a great way to spend an hour during your lunch, after work, on the Saturday, and think about all the lives really that you save. So, I mean, that's a great.
Yeah, there's a story from the Red Cross that I saw a couple months ago, and it was a really young child. I think a child was under 2, and they received, I think it was 3 tablespoons worth of blood, but like that saved their life. That was all it took.
Wow.
And I think about that story a lot because it's like they don't even, obviously you need to have a unit taken. You need to have a measurement that you can safely give. But that's 3 tablespoons. That was it. And that's amazing. I'm like, that little girl gets to go live and be healthy now.
Yeah. It's simple process. You just, get your vitals taken and then just kind of rest there. So, I mean, what better way to really help your community by donating blood? Other than going every 56 days to donate your blood, And I know I'm reading here on your bio that you do a lot of active social media campaigns and everything.
Mhm.
What kind of in the community events do you hold or do you put on or kind of
Mhm.
workshop to promote blood health
Yeah.
awareness?
So what I do right now is I'm a member of the UMN Red Cross Club. So every time we host a drive, I'm there as a volunteer. And those are usually the closest drives I can get to. Um, what I am doing this June, early June, before the Miss Minnesota competition, is I'm actually hosting a blood drive for the first time. And I am so thrilled because I knew this was one of my big goals for the year as a title holder, was to host a blood drive. And I'm so excited for it. My family's going to be there. Some friends are going to come too. Some of my sister queens from the Miss Minnesota class of 2025 are going to come help. And like, that's my big exciting thing this year, is that I'm hosting a blood drive, and it's something that, whether or not I earn the title of Miss Minnesota, I think I'm going to continue to do.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to be doing that. My
Yeah.
active social media campaigns include Blood Fact Friday. So every Friday I share a different fact about blood health for the blood donation process. And then on a weekly basis, I will do a blood drives roundup. So anything within about 25 miles of the Twin Cities, I will make a list and post it online and say, hey, y'all, here's your blood drives. Find one near you. And most blood drives last like 6 to 8 hours. So there is a time in your day where I know there's an hour. And
Hmm.
so it's pretty flexible that people can go
Right.
in and do that almost
Yeah.
anywhere. Lots of different places around the state host blood drives. It's always very fascinating to see where blood drives are being hosted and what businesses are hosting them.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, no, this, like I said, this is amazing because it's something that we all know about. We
Mm-hmm.
probably don't know too much about, and I address some of the fears that people have, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, this is probably one of the best stages, the Miss America system, one of
Mm-hmm.
the best places to promote that, because, like I said, it's not something that people think about
Yeah.
or want to think about, but they need
Yeah.
to.
They do. And it's really great because this isn't a CSI that people see a lot.
Mhm.
However, there are a couple other girls across the country that I've connected with on social media because we both have this as
Mhm.
our community service initiative. So it's really cool to see the support and work that other title holders are doing across the country
Mhm.
with it as well.
Yeah, yeah, awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. So, where can we follow you? I know you mentioned
Mhm.
earlier about your page, your social media page, but where can we follow you and learn more about the system and your
Mhm.
upcoming pageant journey, along with the blood health awareness education?
Yeah, so right now my title holder account is at Miss Dakota County MN on Instagram. And then my personal pageant account is at Miss Mary Patterson, Patterson Patterson, also on Instagram.
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
Hmm.
Mary, I've learned quite a bit. And like I said, I've been in the health field for 20 some years and I
Hmm.
wasn't aware. And I'm glad that we had this conversation
Yeah,
and glad to share all the interesting facts about blood donation. So
yeah.
thank you
This is
so
what
much for this time.
this is what my platform is here to do. It's here to
Yeah.
educate and help people
Yeah.
learn more, because I'm continually learning throughout this year about
Yeah.
blood donation, and it's so important to share these things,
Yeah.
um, because that's my goal, is to educate donors and make donation more accessible.
Yes. Well, thank
Mhm.
you. I appreciate it. I definitely feel inspired. I know you've inspired our listeners. So I wish you the best in June. Like I said, whether or not you come home with a crown, you have made a difference and you'll continue to make a difference. So, yes, kudos to you.
Mhm.
Congratulations for everything that you've accomplished and achieved and will be achieving.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Meg. I have never done anything like this, so this has been like a highlight. I know this is already a highlight of this year of service. Thank you so much.
Well, good. Thank you so much. All right. Well, you have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. You too, Meg.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.